Hey y'all, welcome to Moments with Missy. If you are new here, and if you've been rocking with me for a while, welcome back. Today we are jumping into day 69 of our Bible reading challenge review. And if you're new, you can access the free resources in the description box below. And I encourage you to join me so that you can begin to grow in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of God's word for your life's journey. And if you strayed away from the faith and you are finding your way back, I encourage you to join me as well so that you can begin to grow and increase knowledge, wisdom, and understanding this go around for yourself. God will literally meet each and every one of you wherever you are. So just hit the subscribe button so that you can join me. And let's jump right in and get started. So the scriptures for day 69, my nose is so itchy. While I was talking, it was like a little feather. Just like tickling my nose. Like lint or something. Sorry. But the scriptures for day 69 came from Numbers chapter 32 and 33. The standout chapter and verses for me came from Numbers chapter 33, verses 55 through 56. And my takeaway for the day is, based on today's reading, God is saying to me, sometimes there are people in our land, a.k.a. life, that will bring trouble in the land. We end up experiencing God's wrath for them, for ourselves, due to disobedience, proximity, lack of wisdom, and lack of discernment. And the standout scriptures came from Numbers chapter 33, verses 55 through 56, and that reads, "But if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land, those you allow to remain will become barbs in your eyes and thorns in your sides. They will give you trouble in the land where you will live, and then I will do to you what I plan to do to them." So that's God speaking to Moses about what would happen if they do not drive out the Canaanites so that they can enter into the land of Canaan as God has established for his promise and his word upon the earth that needs to be fulfilled. The Canaanites have to be driven out so that the Israelites could go in and inhabit the land as God told them they would. And so something else that just stood out to me when God said, if those you allow to remain will become barbs in your eyes and thorns in your sides. I'm thinking about your eyesight. So your spiritual eyesight, you being able to have discernment on what's going on around you. And not even your spirit, just your spiritual eyesight, but even your physical eyesight. The things that we see, it can affect us spiritually, emotionally, subconsciously. You could have something that is festering based off of what you see. So if you think about, if you watch a scary movie and you have a hard time going to bed and you're having sweats, or you just feel anxious, or you like a little jumpy, you just watched a scary movie, but you might not be subconsciously thinking that that is why you are feeling and acting the way you're acting. So God was displeased with the Canaanites and some of the ways they chose to live, and he already had established what he was going to do, what his will would be for them. So I believe that in him saying that they would be barbs in your eyes, that God is saying that the things that the Canaanites would place before the Israelites to see would be detrimental to their eyesight spiritually, on being able to be aligned with God and what God is trying to show them as a way of life, that the Canaanites would place their way of life that is displeasing in the eyes of the Lord, and they would in turn begin to live a wicked way in which God may see as wicked for the Canaanites. So if you think about the Moabites, how they introduced them to the idols of Baal Peor, the idol of Baal Peor. That was something that they saw with their eyesight that hindered their spiritual sight to see what was pleasing versus unpleasing in the eyesight of the Lord. Here they are around these people who are influencing them and showing them this idol to worship and how they do that. And so they in turn began to do it too. And so that will be detrimental to them. And that's what I believe the Lord is saying when he says that if they allow them to remain, they will become barbs in their eyes and the thorns in their sides. When you think about a thorn in your side, it's like a pain, just like something that keeps aching, and you might not be able to fully get it out. It's a thorn in your side. Something that will be extremely painful to come out and extremely painful going in. So just thinking about the Israelites being in a position, if they allowed the Canaanites to remain, or any remnants of the Canaanites to remain in the land, like God said, that they would have such a traumatic experience of this pain going in and this pain coming out. My God, that was powerful. Yeah, this pain going in and this pain coming out, because of the fact that these ways that the Canaanites have, that it will cause some detrimental, traumatic events for the Israelites if they were not obedient to God's words. Traumatic events, including the wrath of God that will come on them, which is the wrath of the Canaanites that God will have for them. But because the Israelites, if they allowed any remnants of them to remain in land, or did not draw them out in whole, that God's wrath would now be their portion, and not just because he's after wanting to bring about a consequence to the Israelites for something they've literally done, although they were disobedient, but the fact that they are in proximity with this people, that he is telling them not to be joined with or in a proximity with, but they're allowing themselves to be. So now you're gonna endure the same things that they will, because you're there with them. You're right there in proximity to receive the wrath, because I told you not to be in relation or proximity with them to drive them out. And just saying that the lack of disobedience and the lack of wisdom and discernment would cause something like this to happen in our lives. Sometimes lack of wisdom, lack of discernment, it places us in a position where we allow certain things to happen in our lives that we receive red flags for, but a lot of us look at potentials of situations, and many don't fully have wisdom, the wisdom of God, or discernment, the discernment of God, that inkling in your spirit that says, hold up, something's not right about them. Hold up, something's not right about this situation. Wait a minute, the way they keep moving in their life, if they keep doing this, this is going to affect me in this way. A lot of us have been in position where we've overlooked certain things like that, and then it places us in a position where now we are susceptible to hurt, we are susceptible to pain, we are susceptible to mental illnesses, emotional distress, heartbreak, cycle recovery, so much more, that is a lot to really unpack, just about the ways that people are hurt in life. And a lot of the time it's because of someone that you are in proximity with that God did not intend for you to be in proximity with, or someone that God delivered you from being in proximity with, but you turned back around and you allowed them back into the land, or God told you to push them out of the land, to release them from your life, to separate yourself from them in relationship, to not live with them in the same household, and you're not married, but You were disobedient, you did not listen, and so now you're inflicted with some type of hurt, with some type of pain, and you have this resentment, and now you're going through this cycle of healing or wanting to have understanding and wondering why you. But the flags are there, the red flags are there. People say what they mean. People will reveal themselves through their actions and their words. And God is such a loving God. God is such a protector that He will open your eyes to hear and see the things that people say and do, that they will stand in your face and tell you, oh, I didn't do that. Oh, I didn't say that. Oh, that's not what I meant. But in actuality, that is what they said. That is what they did. That is what they meant. But they have such a way of gaslighting, a way of manipulating, that they're able to make you believe, okay, is it me? Am I tripping? Like, okay, maybe it is just me, and I'll just let it be what it is. And then you continue on, and then these cycles keep going, and this hurt and this pain and manipulation. And it's like, if you would just lean into God, allow Him to nurture you, to care for you, to give you His knowledge, to give you His wisdom, to give you His understanding, you could be in a position where those red flags, when you get them, it's like your antennas just go up, and you are quick to be like, all right, yeah, this ain't what God got for me, or God said that I have to get myself out of proximity with them, or God says I do not need to be living with them, or God says I do not need to be in friendship or relationship or community with them. And so you save yourself the fact of having to return back to a cycle of pain, return back to a cycle of healing, because you take the warning that God places before you before it turns into more. So I would just leave you all with an encouragement to say, be obedient to God's word. um, when God reveals something to you about someone, when God reveals something to you in the way that you are being treated, in the way that you are being spoken to, in the way that you are being manipulated, gaslighted, whatever the case may be, when God reveals to you a person's true colors, believe that. My pastor, Pastor Flowers, he said something a long time ago about the nature of, like, a snake. A snake is going to be a snake. When you look out in the grass and you see a snake slithering through the grass, you're not going to be like, oh, let me go see if that's a snake. You're going to know it's a snake. When a person reveals to you who they are, when their language, their words that come out of their mouth, when they can stand in front of you in your face and lie to you in your face, and lie to you about you in your face, when they can treat you a certain way and deny that they did a thing, or lie behind your back, manipulate you, but in their eyes see nothing that they did, it's a snake. Ain't no way around it. Like, the flags are there. Take heed. Use your discernment. Use your wisdom. But it's only through God that you can truly have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to cultivate and have it as a tool to get through your life's journey, so that you can help in making sure that you facilitate safe spaces, so that you don't have to go through cycles, and that you allow God to protect you and move in the way that He needs to. But that's my takeaway for today, y'all. I would love to hear your feedback. And until next time, peace and love.